despite not having the revenue coming in, your expenses may continue to flow through. You need to continue to pay your rent. You need to pay your employees, payrolls, utilities. Those costs are continue to run. What's important to know is that your insurance policy is like a snapshot of your business operation at the point in time.
In 2026, shielding a brick-and-mortar hospitality or retail enterprise from catastrophic crowd liabilities requires looking past generic coverage packages to implement customized commercial liability.
If you value more cost savings, you may also trade off that against a higher risk, higher exposure.
Hello everyone, this is Kripa Anand and welcome to the CanadianSME Small Business Podcast. Today we are breaking down the industrial engineering of small business risk mitigation, event-based hazard evaluation modeling, and strategic asset protection planning for commercial operations. In 2026, shielding a brick-and-mortar hospitality or retail enterprise from catastrophic crowd liabilities, property exposures, and seasonal operational volatility, it requires looking past generic coverage packages to implement customized commercial liability, direct asset protection arrays, and robust business continuity structures. Joining us today is Tang Trang, the Vice President of Small Business Insurance at TD Insurance. Tang is a premier insurance executive with over 25 years of senior leadership success. Since anchoring his practice at TD Insurance in 2016, he has steered executive mandates over product architecture, underwriting strategy, and business performance metrics across both personal and commercial lines to deliver organizational excellence. So, before further ado, let's welcome this very special guest. Tang, welcome to the podcast. Such a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you very much. A pleasure to be here.
Now, Tang, when major international tourist attractions or sports events hit Canadian municipalities, a lot of local business owners focus entirely on, projected sales spikes or completely ignoring the sudden rise in operational liabilities as well. So let's start the conversation by understanding from your perspective, what key risks should businesses prepare for during major public events, specifically like the FIFA World Cup? Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, first of all, when there's a large event like a FIFA World Cup, any big event, it's such a great opportunity for business owners.
Yeah.
You expect higher sales, more customer coming in, increased demand.
Mm-hmm.
But I will also say that with greater opportunity comes greater risk and greater responsibility.
Yes.
And I would break it down into three areas.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I think you mentioned that earlier, it's liability risk,
Yes.
right? So when you have a mega event like that, it's about high volume, a lot of traffic, a lot of customers, crowd management, potentially alcohol-related exposure as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the liability exposure, and sometimes you, as a business, you may need vendors, suppliers, and
Right.
so it's really important to understand who is responsible of what as well.
Right.
So that's kind of the first area, liability risk. The second, I would say, property inventory. During this peak season, you have to think about, do you have enough inventory? Do you have enough food or beverage? It's increased risk as well.
Right.
It's increased risk as well. You may need to do certain temporary extension of your premises, like extending a patio or things like that. Again, like hiring more staff.
Yes.
All of that require for thinking in terms of the property, the inventory.
Right.
And the first thing that you as a business owner you may need to think about is business interruption. Business interruptions, something might force you to close your business, and
Right.
in that event, cost may continue to incur, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think that's very well articulated because specifically when we think about events, we only think about the excited part, right? The fun part. We don't think about these important areas that you've mentioned. So thank you so much for bringing these to light. Now, that's an important reminder because increased traffic can create both new opportunities and also new risks, specifically for small businesses. Now, moving ahead, let's explore how business interruption coverage can help companies prepare for unexpected disruptions and financial losses as well. So, Tang, how can business owners assess the financial impact of an unexpected, operational shutdown? How do you suggest they should estimate that?
So risk management professionals usually think in terms of scenarios,
Mm-hmm.
right? What happens if your business shut down? And it could be, first of all, your revenue just stops, right? You think about gross profit is not coming in anymore.
Yeah.
And it might last a week, a month, potentially a year, depending on how serious the incident happened.
Right.
But it's not only about the revenue. Is despite not having the revenue coming in, your expenses may continue to flow through, right? So think about now you need to continue to pay your rent, you need to compete to pay your employees,
Right.
payrolls, utilities.
Fixed expenses.
Those costs
Yeah.
continue to run. So, and then when you think about recovering your business and putting your business back on its feet, there's also recovery costs. In the course of a shutdown, think about what you need to replace. Like you might replace some inventories, you might replace equipment that was broken. So all of that incur additional cost, right? You may
Right.
take some measure to communicate to your customers and so on and so forth, right? So having those scenarios in mind help you to assess, the extent of the damage.
Yeah.
And this is where then, with with that in mind, you can compare with your policy insurance, right?
Yeah.
What limits have you bought, right? How does it compare?
So that's a valuable advice again, Tang, because planning for disruptions, it helps businesses recover faster as well and, protect their revenue, which they work so hard for. So what you're doing is incredibly important, and thank you so much for that. Now, let's discuss why regular insurance reviews are it's essential specifically during slower business periods as well, right? So, from your extensive experience, Tang, how should businesses review their insurance coverage during off season specifically?
I think there's no better point in time to review your insurance, in your business insurance during off seasons. During peak seasons, what you want to do is to focus on serving your customers and ensure that the safety. During off season, I think you can reflect, you can do better planning, sit back and think a little bit more strategically about what do you need, right? And first, understanding the risk. What's important to know is that your insurance policy is like a snapshot of your business operation at a point in time. So you might have bought insurance about 3 years ago, right? At that point, you might have insurance coverage for $50,000 in inventory, for instance, right? You have a certain amount of equipment. You have some people that are working with you. So I think the first question you need to ask is that how is it now? How does your insurance policy compare to your business operation today, right? So what has changed? You might have increased your inventories, right? You have had success in your business. You have hired more staff, right? For instance, so even in a normal course of operation, your business may have changed. And now, if you're thinking ahead in terms of the upcoming peak seasons, it's in terms of a forward looking. You need to think of kind of like an extra miles, right? You made again because of the crowd management. You may think about hiring vendors to strengthen securities. You might think about staff trainings. There are a lot of more activities to think about. How do you manage long lineup, right? It may go beyond your premises. It could go beyond that. So all of that need to take into account, and that might mean high insurance limits.
Yeah.
That might mean that the insurance that you bought like 3 years ago might not be
Relevant.
sufficient anymore today. So that's kind of the thinking you can do, and then with that in mind, you may do some research, or you may call a licensed insurance advisors to provide you some advice.
That's again a golden advice right there, because when we talk about insurance specifically, TD is the first thing that comes to mind, specifically for majority of the small and medium businesses in Canada. To the restaurant operators, shop owners, and commercial contractors watching, allowing unexpected event liabilities or outdated policy renewals to threaten your business is a massive financial risk in 2026. Guided by executive leader Tang Trang, TD Insurance delivers highly customizable, broker free small business coverage options spanning commercial property, general liability, and auto insurance. Protect what you have worked so hard to build and unlock up to 30% savings on flexible plans today by calling a licensed TD insurance advisor directly at 1 855 724 2883. That is 1 855 724 2883. We'll take a quick break right here, but don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we'll explore how flexible insurance solutions are helping small businesses manage risk more effectively and affordably. Stay tuned.
Hey, you think you know UPS? Yeah, that's us. Everybody knows that. You know what you didn't know? This. Okay, try to keep up. Ocean, us. Ground, rail, air, so us. Guess who? Us. Customs cleared, borders cleared, done. Us. Still with me? Wait for it. Boom. Us. Intelligent, automated, fulfillment. Us. Yep. Healthcare too. Digital your thing? Yeah. Well, book it, ship it, track it. You feeling me yet? Yep. That's all us. That's all UPS.
Welcome back to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. Let's dive into the ways customized insurance options can help business owners protect operations while staying focused on growth. Stay tuned. So now I'd love for you to use this opportunity to educate our listeners about, so how is TD Insurance making business protection more flexible and also affordable for everyone to get involved? Go ahead.
Yeah, it's great questions. So TD Insurance, we focus on education, to your point, clarity. So the first question that an advisor will ask is, tell me about your business, right? It's important to understand your operation. A restaurant operates differently from contractors, differently from a retailer. So, understanding the business means also understand the risk and provide the right advice in terms of the coverage that will actually be adapted to your business operations. Mm-hmm. So having that in mind, then come education, clarity. I talk about insurance advisor to walk you through those coverage advice. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of information also in the website. If 24 hours open, right, you can access those information for education. Right. And when you have that clarity in mind in terms of what risk you need to address and what coverage you need, this is where, as a business owner, you can have choices, right? I think when you think about flexibility, is about what's important for you, right? If you as a business owner value protection and peace of mind, you may think about higher limit. You may think about higher coverage, lower deductible. Yeah. Deductible is if there's a claims, how much you actually pay before the insurance come into play, right? So if you're really bit prudent, you want broader coverage, and that comes with we have a higher cost, and that's also a choice. If you value more cost savings, you may also trade off that against a higher risk, higher exposure, right? So I talk about deductible. You may review your deductible. You may choose lower limits.
Right.
All these questions are important, to discuss with your insurance advisors, because with that, this flexibility to gear towards more protection versus more cost savings, and it's really about providing the business owner with the right informed decision to run the business at the end of the day.
Very well put together. That's an excellent point you made, because as a business owner, you also need choices. And with that, there comes the flexibility part as well. Um, Affordable, customized coverage, it helps businesses protect what matters the most without overspending. So that's amazing. Now, Tang, we talked about the problem, we talked about the solution. Now, let's look ahead and see what different things different businesses can do. So, let's now explore the practical steps business owners can take to strengthen asset protection and simplify claims management. So, what would you suggest? What practical steps can they take to, simplify claims management? Because I think awareness is a key issue, because they don't know the correct information to take those informed decisions, right? So from that perspective, explain from a layman's point of view. Go ahead.
Exactly. I think going back to your earlier question about understanding the risk, first is seeing the risk, right? Seeing the risk as a business owner, you know your premises, know the doorways, know the area you need to strengthen safeties. If you have customer coming through, you have steps, procedures. And I think the first thing to think about is prevention, right? Is anything that you can, is any measure you can take, reasonable steps that you can take in order to ensure safety for your customers, right? So you think about staff trainings, if you think about alcohol-related exposure, especially during mega events, just think about having your child well trained about alcohol serving. There are rules around that, safety rules. Think about strengthening your security and so on, and having clear steps and procedures. I think the more you document, you might understand the risk. The more you document what those risks are, the better ability you have to tackle them, right? So that's the preventive part. Then what's next? What you can think about? Keep good records. Keep good records about your financial records. If keep a good record about your inventory, your equipment. Take photos, all these receipt documentations, because those are going to be important if there's an incident happen and you have to file the claims. Those information will help speed up the claims process and get you back on your feet very quickly. The other thing to think about is sort of similar to the scenario kind of thinking is what if this goes wrong? What's my backup plan? Right. So if you own the fridge, your fridge broken, you have a backup plan, right? You have a supplier that provide you some alternatives. If you run out of electricity, you have a backup generator, for instance, right? So this is what kind of business continuity plan, right? And some sort of what if scenario, and look at what are the options, and you think about it in advance. It make you better prepare, right, for the worst. And at the end, insurance is part of the a resilience tool, I would say, to think about once you try to mitigate your risk, while you take reasonable steps, to ensure safety of your customer. Insurance then comes into play, right? So make sure that you have adequate amount of insurance, right? And look at an advisor, for instance, like if you have questions.
That's very helpful, Tang. Very helpful. Thank you so much for that information. You're so passionate about what you do. I'd love to ask you this. How did you get into doing what you're doing today? Is, risk mitigation or entrepreneurship or, something about insurance? Were you interested in this as a child, or did you stumble upon this in your career?
Yeah, very great questions. Insurance is something you fall into, right?
Yes.
I think the interesting part of the profession, it's in alignment with what I used to love. I'm an actuary, so I love assessing risk. I I like that part. But I also want to make something useful, like in the business world, right? And insurance is a great place for that. It's you think about the risk, but you also think about tools, protections. How do you actually protect your customer, your business owners, and it's very rich. It's evolving a lot. As I said, an insurance policy is a snapshot. It's a
Right.
snapshot of your business at some point in time.
Right.
But as your business evolve, it change, your insurance policy actually need to change, need to evolve, right?
Right. Beautiful. I think so much more power to you. The work that you were doing at TD is incredibly important. I'm loving this conversation, and definitely we'd love for him to be back, hopefully for a deeper discussion that we do the next time for small business owners out there. But for now, Tang, before we let you go, if there's one final piece of advice that you have for our listeners today, something that you would want them to remember specifically for managing their risks better this quarter, if you could whisper one thing into their ears, what would you say and why?
Great opportunity comes with greater risk and greater responsibility.
Right.
So be proactive, prevent, and again at the end, insurance is a tool at the end to be back on your feet if something happens. So that's something you may want to think and call an insurance advisor.
Beautiful. That is, I think, an exceptional reminder that true business resilience requires looking ahead to identify risks before they strike, and that reviewing your policy parameters regularly is how we protect long-term growth. Tang, it was such a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much for being here and doing this.
It's a
with us.
pleasure to talk to you.
All right, that was Tang Trang from TD Insurance, a masterclass in moving past under insurance blind spots to build proactive risk mitigation systems, leveraging flexible and customizable commercial insurance pipelines to protect storefront cash flows, and understanding how event-based hazard planning is shielding Canadian small business margins in 2026. To all the listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and visit CanadianSME.ca for more such resources. To learn more about how we are supporting the ecosystem, please visit the Canadian SME Small Business Foundation at smbfoundation.ca. A very special thank you to our partners, UPS, our shipping partner, and ADP, our HR partner, for their ongoing commitment to empowering SMBs across Canada. I'll see you all in the next episode. Kripa Anand signing off.